Very good morning to all. I hope you all are safe and sound and healthy. We are again back with a new video on recent developments in nano oncology. Very interesting subject, nano oncology, which deals with a combination of nanomedicine and cancer research. So let's move forward. There are very few studies at present, latest recent articles. We will discuss about it as we move forward, and let's go. The first one, pathway into tumors. What is the way, what is the methodology nanoparticles follow to get into the tumors? That is what this research article tried to analyze. So the first one, the new evidence now suggests that the dominant mechanism of extravasation of nanoparticles into solid tumors may be through an active process of endothelial transcytosis. So this endothelial transcytosis is the major mechanism of action, the way in which these nanoparticles drive into the tumor cells. So the disruptive observations in this study provide a wake-up call to the cancer nanomedicine community. It is time to revisit long-established paradigms and embark on fundamental studies to increase our understanding of each step in nanoparticles' road into tumor, since this is likely to be a key to engineer cancer nanomedicines that fulfill the promises of this field. So it's a very new field right now. So this study is actually explaining and suggesting us to go forward with your own ideas on how this tumor can be targeted using nanomedicine, but do follow the fundamental principles, the fundamental theories of nanotechnology and nanomedicine before moving forward with your own ideologies. So very important suggestion here. And yes, this active process of endothelial transcytosis needs to be studied and analyzed, whether it is the perfect pathway or the perfect pathway of any nanoparticle, because there are various nanoparticles, guys. Metal nanoparticles, protein nanoparticles, and various synthesized, biosynthesized nanoparticles. But the question now which arises is that whether all the nanoparticles are going through the process of endothelial transcytosis or not. So that's one question which got into my mind when I was actually reading this article. So I wanted to share with you all, guys. Do comment below in the YouTube video of this, so that you actually come up with your own answers, and let's have a healthy discussion about this nanomedicine and the role of endothelial transcytosis in this regard. The next one, a novel anti-cancer nanomedicine for efficient chemotherapy. Now see, novel anti-cancer nanomedicine for efficient chemotherapy. This is the most highly discussed article which I have gone through in recent times. I suggest you to go forward and read the complete article. We actually tried to summarize few things, few facts from the article in this slide. You get to know the complete idea, but to analyze completely, to evaluate completely what this researcher is wanting to say, you actually have to go forward and read the complete article. So researchers have developed a new anti-cancer nanomedicine for targeted cancer chemotherapy. This new nano tool provides a new approach to use cell-based nanomedicines for efficient cancer chemotherapy. So you see this, cell-based nanomedicines are coming up right now. So exosomes contain various molecular constituents of their cell of origin, including proteins, RNA. Exosomes is also a part. Now, the researchers have harnessed them together with synthetic nanomaterial as carriers of anti-cancer drugs. Wow, amazing idea. We are using exosomes, including proteins and RNA, which is the composition of any cell, and you are combining this cell with nanomaterials, synthetic nanomaterials, and using it as carriers of anti-cancer drugs. So you could see how important this paper is. These recent articles on nanoparticles based drug delivery systems have shown promising therapeutic efficacy in cancer to increase their targetability to tumors. Nanoparticles are actually very useful, and, and they're actually usually functionalized with targeted antibodies, peptides, or other biomolecules. However, such targeting ligands may sometimes have a negative influence on nanoparticle delivery owing to the enhanced immune responses. So you could see the various kind of immune responses when you're actually delivering a novel drug. So luckily, nanoparticles have actually proved to be very useful in enhancing the immunity. So if we could study more on nanoparticles, you could see few research articles which have proved that this nanoparticles, like metal nanoparticles, most importantly gold and silver nanoparticles, have actually proved to be improvise or enhance the immunity of a cancer patient, and it is very useful for researchers to evaluate and analyze those kind of things in future. So this article is very interesting, and I hope people go through these articles and do further more research and experimentations so that we analyze and understand and produce new novel treatments. Targeted crystallization of mixed charge nanoparticles in lysosomes induces selective death of cancer cells is the next study which we are going to learn about. Lysosomes, as we know, is another type of nanoparticles. They have become a very important target for cancer therapeutics because lysosomal cell death actually bypasses the classical caspase dependent apoptosis pathway, enabling the targeting of apoptosis and drug resistant cancers. So this plays a very major role in this caspase dependent apoptosis pathway. So however, only a few small molecules, mostly repurposed drugs, have been tested so far, and these typically exhibit low cancer selectivity, making them suitable only for combinational therapies. Only for combinational therapies, this kind of drugs are actually being used. Here, this study showed that mixed charge nanoparticles, just imagine mixed charge nanoparticles covered with certain ratios, positively and negatively charged ligands, can selectively target lysosomes in cancerous cells while exhibiting only marginal cytotoxicity towards normal cells. This selectivity results from distinct pH dependent aggregation events starting from the formation of small endocytosis prone clusters at cell surfaces and ending with formation of large and well ordered nanoparticle assemblies and crystals inside cancer lysosomes. These assemblies cannot be cleared by exocytosis and cause lysosome swelling, which gradually disrupts the integrity of lysosomal membranes, ultimately impairing lysosomal functions and triggering cell death. So you could see this study is actually explaining us about how this mixed charge nanoparticles can help in inducing targeted specific cell death of only tumor cells without affecting the healthy cells. And these lysosomes, positively charged, negatively charged lysosomes, there are various types of lysosomes, and these lysosomes are very much essential as nanoparticles to trigger cell death, tumor cell death more specifically. So this study discusses about this kind of targeted crystallization techniques, which actually very beautifully explained about how this mechanism of mixed charge nanoparticles can actually be used in inducing selective cell death in tumor cells. So go forward and read more about this article and do come up with your own conclusions and post it in the comments below. So next one, another study on microfluidic platform to design multimodal polyethylene glycol cross-linked hyaluronic acid nanoparticles for diagnostic applications. The combination of different imaging modalities can allow obtaining simultaneously morphological and functional information, providing a more accurate diagnosis. This advancement can be reached through the use of multimodal tracers and nanotechnology based solutions which allows the simultaneous delivery of different diagnostic compounds, moving a step towards the safe administration for multimodal imaging acquisition. So multiple mode imaging techniques can be actually used for diagnostic purposes. We have been using it for various purposes, but for cancer therapies I don't think we have been using. But this microfluidic platform is a new addition which actually is designing this multimodal PEG nanoparticles cross-linked with hyaluronic acid nanoparticles, and this combination is really very interesting. And I think in this combination there are a lot more research studies related to therapies also towards cancer. So move forward and just learn about all those things too. So among different processes, a nanoprecipitation is a consolidated method for the production of nanoparticles, and its implementation in microfluidics can further improvise the control over final product features, accelerating its potential clinical translation. So it actually is explaining about the translation process, how it occurs, and hydrodynamic flow focusing approach is a very novel approach in producing through a one-step process. It's very rapid and a one-step process, very easy, and multimodal pegylated cross-linked hyaluronic acid nanoparticles using this high hydrodynamic flow focusing approach can be actually be done. A monodispersed population of nanoparticles with an average size of 140 nanometers is produced, and this what you call these gold nanoparticles, DTPA and ATTO488 compounds, and they are co-encapsulated simultaneously. And this is the way in which they conduct this technique for diagnosing applications or any kind of imaging of any other organ system. For that instance, MRI and optical imaging probe, which could actually be used for those kind of purposes through multimodal nanoparticle usage. And this combination, most importantly, the PEG cross-linked hyaluronic acid nanoparticles. Furthermore, the many hydrodenticity effect, a boosting of the T1 values with respect to the free GD-DTPA is preserved. So very interesting part. If you are actually interested in knowing more about the diagnostic applications, please go forward and search with the title above and go forward and read more about this diagnostic tool of this combination. And let's hope that we can actually have a lot more cross-linked combinations for diagnostic applications. As you know, PEG is one kind of nanoparticle, a polymer-based nanoparticle. We have a lot more polymer-based nanoparticles. Why can't we use that kind of other types of polymer nanoparticles in place of PEG? Maybe it may enhance the effectiveness of diagnosis what you do. For example, to take instance of cancer therapy, can't we actually use another polymer-based nanoparticle or a protein-based nanoparticle in combination with hyaluronic acid nanoparticles for diagnostic applications? So these questions need to come up in your mind so that you can actually analyze and evaluate yourself whether the questions what you are asking is right or wrong, and whether you get those answers by discussing about it with your friends, with your lecturers, with your professors in the coming days. So please do that. Please raise your questions, comment below your conclusions after reading the papers, what I'm actually explaining you with the abstracts. So the next one, yeah, we come to an end of this studies of nano-oncology, and I hope you all enjoyed this session, and it was really very interesting topics were discussed today in this video. And so please be happy, please be healthy, please be fit, please do take care of yourself initially, and then of your parents and grandparents. Eat healthy food, learn something new, share the knowledge what you get with your friends. Don't go with the fake news which are going all over the world, which are going around. Ignore them, try to ignore them, and do share this video if you loved it with your friends, and follow our Insta page Nerdy Scientist for more of these kind of studies, to learn more about these kind of studies, and do follow and subscribe our YouTube channel so that you get more acquainted to these kind of research things, because it's very very important when you go into your masters and for your PhD programs, so that you get to understand what are the research skills about. So no one is going to see your resume and give you an offer of a job in R&D departments or becoming a scientist. You need to be acquainted with different kind of skills, and to be acquainted for those kind of skills, you need to understand that this is very crucial. Research is very much crucial. The questions what you get in your mind is very crucial. When you start reading all the research studies, then only you can get an answer for all those effective you know effective doubts. So please move forward, do come up with your conclusions, and do comment below. And yeah, thank you, bye, stay tuned, and be healthy. Thank you.